Okay, so like I said in the first recap tutorial, in this part, in the second tutorial, I'm going to go through how to import images and videos in the scene through reading them as textures and materials. And then I will also place 3D audio objects that are reading the audio file of the videos or any kind of other audio sources, which are then audible only in certain places. Okay, so also, so to say, three-dimensional audio sources. All right. So as I said in the previous video, that I have collected images and 2 videos to be placed inside the scan. So let's go back to project folder and let's go to the video and let's drag and drop these 4 files inside our project. What these are is, if you click on it, you can see that they are being previewed here on the right side. If you go to the next one, it says that it's an MP4 file. You can also press play to preview your videos. So let's go ahead and start with images first, and then let's continue with the videos. So we will treat the images as textures like in any other 3D software that goes into albedo channel or that goes into base map, so to say, in Blender. So for that we would need to create, first of all, a 3-dimensional object so that we can assign these images as textures. I'm going to use a plane to demonstrate, to kind of place these images in the world. And I will also let these planes correspond to the resolution of the image. So if you go to your hierarchy and right click and go to 3D object and select plane, it creates a plane in 1:1:1 scale, and in the you can reset its position by typing 0, 0, 0 once again. Hit F to zoom into it. There are 2 ways of reading the textures. The easy way is to simply drag and drop it, and once you did that and select your object, you can see that it also created a material that reads the texture. Important here is that what I mentioned earlier, that if the resolution is in a ratio of 1:1, then you also want your plane to be scaled in the same ratio. You will see it better when I import this one. This is in the ratio of 2:1. So if I duplicate this plane with Ctrl D, carry it up, and then drag and drop this other texture, you'll see that it's squeezing the image to the plane that is in ratio of 1:1. So what I want to do is to scale up the x-axis by 2 so that the image can sit nicely. I'll just quickly rotate these and carry them somewhere. Oh, something important that I maybe just mentioned now. You can see that the plane is reading the texture from only one side. To prevent this, if you want to read the image from both sides, you select the image, scroll down in the material properties, and select double-sided. I'll come to this metallicness and smoothness values, which you might be familiar with from any other 3D modeling software. It does more or less the same thing. Of course, you don't see it doing anything right now because we don't have any light or global volume system. And after we start placing lights, you will see that these also start playing a role. Okay, I'll just place these for now along the path. I'll do the same thing for this plane that I want to read as double-sided material, so that in case I fly from backside of it, I can still see it. Let's do a fly through quickly once. Okay. One of them is here, and the other one is right here. Okay, so let's move on to importing videos. In order to prevent any confusion with these file names, I'll add video in the naming of these files. We go ahead inside the hierarchy, right click, scroll down, and hit the video player to import a video player into your scene. The video player is asking for a source material, which is a video clip. That is the video, one of the videos that we have imported. So I'll just drag and drop one of them. Important here is that it loops and it plays on awake. On awake means when you start the game, it starts playing the video. So how do we visualize this video inside the scene? There are different modes of rendering it. If I hit these, it's gonna just render the video onto the camera and we won't be able to see anything. What we want to do is similar to how we read these images. We want to read a video playing on a surface, on a plane. So let's pause this one here for a second and let's just add a plane, right click, 3D object, plane. Let's drag it here for better visibility. How do I play the video on this plane? It's the same logic as before. We have to create a material. Let's go and do it. Create a material. Right click in your project. Go to create and search for material. Now you have a material that you can call VideoTexture. And now we just drag and drop this video texture onto the plane, and if you change its color, you'll see that it corresponds in real time. That means the material is assigned to it. Or in order to see what material is assigned to your text plane, you select the 3D object. On the right side, inside its properties, there is a material slot. You can drop it and hit once the assigned material to highlight it. So there is a missing bridge. So there is this video player on the one hand that can create a render texture, so we can actually turn this video into a render texture that then we read inside this material as a base map. So let's go back to the video player and give it a render texture. You see that it says I can render it as a render texture if you give me a render texture. So the target texture is missing right now. There is none. We have to create, for that reason, a render texture. So if we go again inside the folder where you work, like the project and video folder, right click, go ahead and create a render texture. So now the video will translate itself into a render texture that updates in real time, frame by frame. The size of the render texture is the resolution of the texture, which then should correspond to the video. So to be able to enter these values, you have to read the resolution of this video by right-clicking, say Show in Explorer, right-click on the video, hit the properties, go to details. You can see that the width and the height of the frame of the image, so 2094, and 1334. Now you can see that the ratio and the resolution of the render texture that you created corresponds to the same ratio and resolution of the video. Let's also rename the texture called video texture. And the final step, what you will have to do is that telling the video player in our scene that the video that we are trying to play should render itself onto this newly generated video texture, and that the plane receives this information in its material and renders this texture within that material. So you drag and drop the video texture into the material properties and the base map of your plane. And now if you hit play,
und bin außerdem Kulturarbeiter, Tontechniker und Musiker. Von 2014 bis 2022 wurde das Gebäude hinter mir für Proben genutzt.
Okay, so as you could see, the video was playing on the plane, and we could also hear the video. What was not desired, or what we want to change, is the size of the plane. For it to correspond to the resolution of the video, we will have to gimmick the scale to the same values, more or less. Like, let's remove the 3 digits here. Let's say it's 2 by 1.3. So if I enter x value as 2 and 1.3, now it is in the same ratio. Now the plane is in the same ratio as the original video. What we also saw when we pressed play is that it just plays the audio. The video player just plays the audio directly. That means it's playing it as a 2-dimensional audio source. and we would like to gain control over this. So placing audio source that we can control. So let's go ahead inside the video player. Here there is add component. If we hit that and type audio source, you'll see that we can add a component called audio source. And if you scroll out or look around, you'll see that it's playing it as a giant audio source. Now we have to change the output mode of the video player to audio source. And then it opened the slot here where you can assign which audio source you want to assign to that video player. We want to assign this audio source that we just added. So you take it, grab it, and move it inside the slot. And now we can have manual control over the audio properties of this video. We want it to loop. That means the video and audio are looping in exact time. We want it to be a 3-dimensional audio source and not 2D. That means inside the VR or with the camera that you fly around, you can have 3-dimensional relation and orientation to the audio source and hear it from the left or right, or above or from below. One last thing is that we will change the volume roll-off from logarithmic to linear and change the maximum distance to 2. And if I hit F now, this represents where the audio source begins which is the outer rim, and here it's maximum. If I'm here with the camera, I hear, if I'm inside the sphere, I hear it the loudest, and if I have some distance from it, then it starts fading out. We have now a weird position of this audio source. We wanted to play it inside the plane, so I just move it inside the plane. What you can also do is that you take this video player, you move it inside the plane, and then you reset the position values so it sits inside the center of your plane. And now accordingly you can just scale up the spheres to determine where it starts fading out. Let's move it here. $90, $180, and we can keep this rotation, something like that. Okay, so finally, just make sure that the camera that you're using actively has a component called AudioListener. It might be that if you're using gamepad camera rig, by default AudioListener was checked off, so you have to enable it once again, or any camera that you have to have AudioListener in order to listen to any audio source in the scene. So now the camera, let's just scale down these gizmos. The audio source starts in the sphere and fades out, and the camera, as we start, we will not be able to hear the sound source, and as we start entering this, the sound will fade in and reach out to its maximum volume in here. So I'll demonstrate it quickly. keeping this window open. Okay, now the game is playing. As you can hear, we don't receive any audio, and as you can see, the more I get closer, the more I enter and get closer to the inner circle, inner sphere, the more I start hearing the audio source that is playing.
Leider gab es damals nur eine temporäre Benutzungsbewilligung und die ist 2022 ausgelaufen und seitdem steht das Gebäude ungenutzt da. Unser ganzes Inventar ist trotzdem.
And the more I exit, the more it fades out and it reaches its zero volume in the outer rim of the sphere. I'm gonna go ahead and create a second video player that plays on a plane. I'll do it a little bit faster this time. So maybe we begin with taking a look at its resolution. Right click, show in Explorer. It shows you in your windows, and then you can hit you can read the properties inside the details. I'll just write down these values and then use it as the resolution of the new video texture. So right click and create a video player, drag and drop that video there, let it loop, create for it a new render texture by right clicking inside the project, create render texture, enter the values of the resolution of the video, 110 by 1278, hit end, 110 by 1278. You can see that it kind of resembled to the same resolution and ratio of the video, and let's just rename this video texture 2, and then now this video has become video texture 2. Let's render it on a plane that has the same ratio, 1.1 and 1.278. So now this plane by default has an uneditable material. In order to modify the properties of this plane, I'm going to create a new material and assign this video texture to it. So let's do that. Right click, create material, call it video texture material 2, and go ahead and assign it to your plane, and also assign the video texture to its base map, so that this material reads the texture and renders it onto the plane. Now if you press play, you see that it plays the video. We can stop it. And since it is a screen recording, there is no audio capture, but I want to add a sound source to that object too, so that when you come closer to it again, you can listen to it. I'll just rotate it 90 degrees and rotate it once again and place it somewhere here for now. And now inside this plane, we want to have an audio source. So let's right click inside the hierarchy and go to audio, select audio source. Now it created an audio source approximately closer to the object. If you want to place it right exactly inside the center of it, you drag and drop it inside your plane and reset its position, and it sits nicely inside of it. Now as you can see, the inner circle, inner sphere is as big as the object, and the outer sphere is super large, so we take it down to 10 so that it's phased out. Make sure that it is not logarithmic but linear, and make sure that it's 3-dimensional audio source and it's looping. And you can assign any kind of audio. Let's see how it sounds like. Alright. Now if you press play, we're gonna have this looping water sound around the plane.
Hallo, ich heiße Thomas Krug und ich mache
I don't know if you can hear it.
außerdem Kulturarbeiter, Tontechniker.
The other video's sound is also fading in.
Für zahlreiche Konzerte, für Newcomerinnen.
When I'm near this object from the left side, so to my left I hear the audio source of this plane, and as you can see, we still have the same issue that we had before with the other textures, that we cannot read the video from the backside. So I'll just stop the game and select the plane. Sorry, scroll down and check the double-sided. Now if you look at it from the backside, you also can see it from the backside. Probably the same issue we have for this one. If you go to the backside, you don't see it. Now you can just check the double-sided and read it from the backside too. If you want to add finally an ambient audio that plays all across the scene, that is going to be a 2-dimensional sound, then you right click, create an audio source. You can place it manually if you want by hand, wherever you want, or you just drag and drop it inside the object under which you want to have it. Then you reset its transform, and then you can turn it into linear and scale down. In this case, because it's 2-dimensional, it will always play. Regardless of where you are, you will always hear it. Just make sure that it's looping, and assign any audio that you assign any audio that you bring into your project. Okay, so this is more or less it about the sound sources and audio sources. I'll stop it here and move on to the next one.